Samsung has been making tablets for nearly as long as Macintosh. However, it's just lately that the Korean organization has produced iPad choices that truly feel like they're worth purchasing. The Tab S7 Plus is the organization's generally aggressive record to date, with a flawless design and slew of premium highlights, including the immeasurably significant S Pen. However, might it at any point be a certifiable Android opponent to the iPad Pro? Peruse our full audit to find out. Design and build. The Tab S7 Plus shouts premium. When you remove it from the crate, has a flawless, premium design that is more than befitting of the Samsung name. The blend of glass front and aluminum back is normal on current tablets, yet implies it's substantially more grippy and simple to hold than most cell phones. You could in any case need to toss on a case, however, so we've gathered together the most ideal choices for both the Tab S7 and Tab S7 Plus. The moderate design of the S7 Plus is penetrated by a genuinely perceptible back camera module, which houses a 13-megapixel fundamental and 5-megapixel ultra-wide focal point. It protrudes from the rear of the gadget a decent lot, yet it's not excessively perceptible except if you lay it level on a table. The polished attractive strip, which broadens upward from here, is where the S Pen the 2 charges and interfaces with the gadget. I'll discuss how it performs later, yet I tracked down this situation both off-kilter and irritating. The pointer can likewise be joined to the sides of the gadget, yet a lot more fragile magnets mean it tumbles off under any kind of strain. The tablet's thin bezels are unaltered from the Tab S6 series, yet a greater screen knocks up the screen-to-body proportion to 84.6%. This misses the mark regarding what you'll see on present-day cell phones. However, in this structure factor, it's critical to have some place to clutch. More essential to me is that they're predictable as far as possible around. In numerous new surveys, I've grumbled of in-display fingerprint scanners disappointing shakiness. Yet the Tab S7 Plus' optical sensor is a wonderful little treat. Enrollment is speedy and basic, and more frequently than I could utilize it to open the gadget inside several seconds. I didn't track down it as quick or foolproof as an actual sensor. However, for once it's a compromise I'm willing to make. Back-mounted fingerprint scanners are many times clumsily put on the rear of tablets, so the main genuine option would install it into the power button, iPad Air style. It's by all accounts not the only biometric choice for opening the gadget, with the 8MP selfie camera likewise supporting Face Open. I was truly dazzled with the nature of this sensor, making it ideal for video calling. One side of the gadget highlights shrewd connectors designed for docking into the console cover, yet I haven't had the option to test how well it functions. Nonetheless, one of the seriously baffling design changes comes on the contrary side, with what seems to be a power button sending off the Bixby menial helper after a long press. A more limited snap will in any case lock the gadget, yet the standard power choices are accessible from the fast settings menu. I thought the times of Samsung compelling Bixby on us were previously, yet it appears to be not. The other large thing you'll see is the fourfold sound system speakers. They produce probably the best sound I've heard from a cell phone, producing a rich profundity which is generally held for devoted hardware. It was especially amazing on melodies weighty on bass and yet stood its ground with voices and calmer conditions. Normally, this makes the Tab S7 Plus extraordinary for content utilization, especially taking into account Netflix comes pre-introduced. Display. Samsung has produced probably the best screens around for a couple of years at this point, and it's truly gone all out with the Tab S7 Plus. The 12.4-in 1752 by 2800 Super AMOLED display is a delight to see, offering rich, powerful varieties and a shocking degree of detail. 4 Kelvin screens haven't taken off in tablets right now, yet I question it would have an enormous effect in this structure factor. The enormous redesign over last year's Tab S6 is the transition to a 120Hz refresh rate, aligning it with Macintosh's most recent iPad Pros. Everything feels that piece smoother and slicker, and its impacts are amplified on a bigger tablet display. You'll see a distinction in perpetual looking over applications like Facebook and Twitter, while it could give you a significant high ground for versatile gaming. You can switch among this and standard 60Hz in settings. However, I particularly delighted in leaving it at the most noteworthy refresh rate for the length of my testing time. Hardware and performance. Performance is another region where the Tab S7 Plus succeeds. The tablet comes pressing Qualcomm's best-in-class Snapdragon 865 Plus chipset, which joins with an Octacenter GHC GPU and 8GB of SLAM on the model I tried. The gadget floated through nearly anything I could come up with, including web perusing, watching recordings, and perusing virtual entertainment. That stretched out to performing various tasks, with the Tab S7 Plus' enormous screen making its mark. Without testing out the console case, I couldn't expose it to the afflictions of my everyday work process. However, I'd be sure it would adapt fine and dandy. Be that as it may, my experience of the gadget didn't be guaranteed to line up with benchmark performance, which put the Tab S7 Plus underneath a large number of its opponents in GFX Seat's graphical tests. While these scores can be helpful for examination objects, it merits taking a portion of these figures with a spot of salt. Accessories. There are two key accessories that can possibly change the manner in which you utilize the Tab S7 Plus: the S Pen and console cover. As I haven't had the option to test the last option, I'll zero in on the pointer here. It's much thicker here than you'll find on Note telephones, so putting away it inside the gadget itself is impractical. Beside the charging, interfacing region on the rear of the gadget, this feels like a major move forward over the S Pens we've found in Samsung's telephones and workstations. The primary thing I saw is the amount more regular it feels to hold. Undeniably more with regards to a genuine pencil. That makes composing or drawing on the Tab S7 Plus substantially more regular and natural. While some amazing palm dismissal tech implies you don't need to stress over coincidental screen presses. Software. The Tab S7 Plus comes running Samsung's One UI 2.5 over Android 10. An update to One UI 3.0 is normal soon, and that is probably going to carry Android 11 with it as well. The software experience will be natural to any individual who has utilized a Samsung telephone as of late. One UI is a genuine takeoff from supposed stock Android that you'll track down on Pixel gadgets, yet it's progressed significantly from the beginning of TouchWiz. As a matter of fact, I'd venture to say it's more natural than Google's working framework in a couple of regions. Across a large portion of the UI, Samsung keeps the buttons and controls you'll require inside simple access in the base portion of the screen, saving the other half for survey as it were. It's less of an issue on a 2GAV gadget like this, yet at the same time feels more normal to not need to continue to reach towards the highest point of the screen. Cameras and battery life. While nobody's recommending you ought to utilize a 12:4 tablet to take photographs consistently, it's decent knowing there's some strong camera innovation there. Would it be a good idea for you on it? The Tab S7 Plus highlights the equivalent 13MP wide and 8MP ultra-wide sensors as last year's Tab S6 series. It's a recognizable step down from the Samsung's leader cell phones, despite the fact that it is more straightforward to detect inadequacies while you're seeing them on a gadget this size. By and large, they're fine for a periodic snap or record examine. However, I wouldn't suggest them for much else progressed. A region that is maybe more significant this year is the forward-looking camera. The Tab S7 Plus S8MP is very great, offering accurate tones and a decent degree of detail. It likewise manages openness, a region that selfie cameras will more often than not battle with. In the event that video calling is essential to you, the Tab S7 Plus is an extraordinary choice. Taking into account the size and goal of the display, it's consoling to realize that the tablet is pressing a huge 1090 mAh battery. That is a huge update over the 7040 mAh cell in the Tab S6 5G, albeit the expansion of a high refresh rate implies battery life is genuinely normal. With the brilliance set to 120 nits, I kept 9 hours and 42 minutes in Geekbench 4's battery test, while that dropped to 6 hours and 48 minutes in PC Imprint's comparable test at 200 nits. The last option intends to reenact a commonplace working day, so recommends a great many people would need to top up eventually. Finally, thanks for watching this video. See you again next time.